Hey everyone, how many of you are here to grab your PDUs today? If you're here for your PDUs, drop a 999 in the chat. Who's here to snag some freebies? No worries, that's all good. Make sure to take full advantage of what Teacher Peiqi has to offer today. Grab your 5 PDUs and 2 lucky prizes. Try to come back more often. As we keep meeting, we'll get to know each other better. Of course, you'll want to join my classes. Alright, let's kick things off on time. Welcome to Teacher Peiqi's P2 Project Management class, everyone. So, today we're diving into our first case study. Welcome to the first case study class. Last class, Teacher Yang Dan held the opening ceremony. We had a quick overview of how to learn P2. Today, we'll break this lesson into 3 main parts. First up, let's start with a quick review. We'll review what we covered last class, since this is a case study class. Next, we'll focus on the case study. We'll dive into all key points through the case study. We'll understand the concepts by breaking them down. This method. So, to wrap up, I have several examples that will be woven together. And finally, let's do a quick recap. This is the pace. So, everyone can channel your energy into today's pace. I know everyone is busy. Today's class runs from 7:30 to 9:30, for 2 hours. We'll take a 10-minute break halfway through. Sounds good. Let's kick things off with a quick thought exercise. Alright, let's get started. Let's kick off with a quick pre-class thought. We'll begin with our class 2. I've brought in our AI. Right now, here's how we're presenting it. We're using AI drawing to show you the overall case background. Later, we'll also debug the AI in our group. I'm currently debugging this AI model to see if we can interact with everyone through this case discussion. So today marks our first showcase of AI drawing. Alright, let's reflect before class. Here's a case study. Sounds good. First, we have a local non-profit organization. The board members are having their February meeting. This organization is important. Focuses on raising funds and buying food. Alright everyone, let's refocus. The case is about to begin. There are 3 pages in total. And distribute them to those in need. Let's talk about what this organization does. Present at the meeting are the chairperson, Beth, along with 2 board members. One of them is Mary. There's one more thing. The 3 of them are in the meeting room to decide what to do next. Let's make a plan. The organization is currently facing some challenges. First, Beth. She said all funds are nearly gone. At the same time, the demand for food supplies and soup kitchens keeps rising. We need to find out how to get more funding. Mary said we need to set up a fundraising project. Steven suggested, can't we ask the local government for help? Let's see if they can give us some funding. Boost the funding. Sounds good. Beth added. They're feeling the pinch too. They might even cut our funding next year. Basically, it's about whether the government can give us some funding. He means their finances are pretty tight too. Next year might be tough. They might give us even less than this year. Okay, Mary asked once more. How much do we need to make it through this year? Beth said around 50,000. We'll need this money urgently in 2 months. We need a lot more than just money. We need more volunteers. More storage space and a fridge for the kitchen. Sounds good. Mary seems a little happy. She said we can totally handle this fundraising project ourselves. This is going to be really fun. Then Beth mentioned the project is growing. There's no way we can finish it on time. What exactly can we do? Everyone should think about this. Don't just listen to me, think about it too. Okay, Beth chimed in. We'll figure it out. And we'll do it right. That's how we've always done it. We've always managed it. Sounds good. Steve added on. Do we really need this project? What are we doing next year? Is this another project? Also, We're facing tough times. Finding volunteers is a challenge. Maybe we should think about this. How can we run this on a tighter budget? For instance, how can we get more food donations regularly? This way, we won't need to buy food anymore. In simple terms, we need that much money. It's for buying food. And the food is meant to be given to those in need. People in need. This is what our project is all about. Sounds good. Molly chimed in again. She said it's a fantastic idea. When we go fundraising, you can work on this too. We can explore all options. Alright. Beth chimed in. In the end, we need to wrap this up. It's a deal. These are great ideas. But we have limited funds and volunteers. And the demand is growing. More and more people need help. Demand is on the rise. What we need to do now is to make sure we don't have to close in 2 months. I think we all agree we need to take action. But we're not sure if we're on the same page. Alright. This is the background of the case. Alright. You all heard me finish reading. And you all seen it too. So, what key points do you have about this information? What did it actually say? Where can we find the key information? What should we pay attention to? This is a situation. It's a scene. There's some dialogue. Okay. Take a moment to think about it. Let me give you a hint. I feel a bit lost without any hints. Let's take a moment to think about these 3 questions. What are the requirements we've identified? What are the goals of the project? What are the key areas involved in the project? Let's take a moment to think. Feel free to share your thoughts in the chat. Since you all have studied PMP, you're all either PMP certified or currently studying for it. I believe with the PMP framework, these questions shouldn't be too hard. As one of our classmates mentioned, funds might not come through in time. This is a separate issue. Isn't that right? Funds might not come through in time. This is a separate issue. It's still a need. It's a necessity. Sounds good. We need more money or food. Liang Jiang brought it up. He mentioned the first option. Everyone can weigh in. The classmates are right. Is that right? Is it what you expected? Sounds good. Second, project goals. We need more volunteers. The volunteer shortage is a different matter. Or maybe, project objectives. The second is fundraising. Alright. Funds are running low. This could mean this year's project won't be finished. Okay. We urgently need it in 2 months. We need 50,000 yuan urgently in 2 months. Okay. What I want to show with this case is, when I explain, in our P2 class, we approach it through case studies. So, make sure to come with your ideas. Come with an open mind. Pay attention and think critically. Don't just take my word for it. Don't just listen to me. What are we discussing? Instead, think of some questions first. If I mention these questions, I'll give you hazard. Next, I'll share an example. This example. Think about these 3 questions ahead of time. What do we need? What's the goal? What's the focus area? Then I'll come back to this. Let me revisit this case. Is everyone focused? Let's find the needs. Let's set our goals. Let's identify the key points. This way of learning is really effective. This is what you think about before class. What do you think? Let's catch everyone up. Here's how to approach the P2 course. Make sure to check out my topic beforehand. Take a moment to think about it. Consider your own circumstances, real-world experience, or rely on your intuition. Make your own assessment. Here's what I'll be covering in this class. Do you have any questions? Bring your questions to the lecture. This is the first thought to consider before class. The key takeaway. Come to class with your questions. Alright. So, the culture of the entire P2 courses is centered on these 3 points. These 3 points are our mission, vision, and values. This is a familiar topic. You may have noticed it already. You might have heard this before. But it's really important. I'm making steady progress. Our mission is to turn school knowledge into skills. You learn a lot of things. How to put it into practice. This is also a key point for the P2 exam. Especially for the practitioner level exam. P2 Practitioner exam. Let me show you on the screen. P2 has foundation and practitioner levels. Foundation level focuses on concepts. Practitioner level focuses on application. If you're taking the practitioner level exam, you need to know how to use this knowledge. It's crucial. As a member of our team, all the instructors here, the class instructors, and our lead instructors, they're all coaches. They're all coaches in your area of expertise. We might not be better than you. You might be way better than us. But when it comes to project management, in the realm of P2, we got started a bit earlier and have a bit more experience. Let's speed things up a bit. So in this area, we're here to guide you. Think of us as your coaches. In simple terms, we refer to it as servant leadership. Alright, the third point is crucial, because in class, I will guide everyone to put this into practice. Core values. Let's start by practicing the first one. Entrepreneurial mindset. You can also frame it as a top leader's mindset. You can also consider it as the mindset of a leader. Leader's perspective. Think like a leader. This matter. When you see things from your own viewpoint, or looking through your own lens, what is it? This issue can't be solved. Raise your perspective. Talking about leaders, or their superiors. Take a look at this issue. You'll see it clearly. It's really simple. But the exam is tough. Getting exam approval is tough. You need to break down the information. You have to put in the effort, and be ready to work hard. You need to be thorough. The examples we shared in our group, we need to discuss this. Let's share our ideas. Don't just watch, think about it. Don't just think, speak up. Be thorough and help others. Help those who have problems. Here are the next few points. Everyone here, I won't go into more detail. I've explained each one. This is the main message of the course. So today, I'm updating everyone. Welcome to the first class of our case study. Let's catch everyone up. Now that we have this information, we can easily move on to the next lessons. It'll be a breeze. This is similar to what we do in the team charter from our PMP framework. Does that make sense? This is a practical takeaway. So, P2 focuses on application and putting it into action. Sounds good. Let's get started. Now that we've touched on our values, especially the first point about entrepreneurs feeling inferior. Great. Here comes the second pre-class thought. Imagine you are all in this situation. You've been with the company for 9 years now. You made it to the senior project manager role, but the environment hasn't changed at all. It's left you feeling burned out. Then, out of the blue, you're thinking about switching jobs. A headhunting company came up. They were also looking for a director. The position of project director. A potential candidate. You happily accepted. The interview went well. The new boss really liked you. Appreciated you a lot. Felt a strong connection. It felt like you should have met sooner, even though you just joined the company a month ago. But your relationship with the boss has really taken off. He even invited you over to his place, and you got to meet his family. You know, usually if a boss or leader invites you over to their home to meet the family, that means the relationship is pretty close. He really thinks highly of you. You're someone he's looking to develop in the future. Sounds good. But then, here's the catch. One day, out of the blue, you accidentally found out that your boss's partner was with someone you didn't know, a stranger. The relationship is pretty unclear. Linking arms with someone else. It's all pretty ambiguous anyway. Everyone can feel it. So, are you still on probation? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So, just load him up with veggies, right? Broccoli, celery, veal seed choy. Definitely not getting any meat. Is that so? Are there any other options? Let's be more realistic. In real-life situations. What if it's your boss? You notice your boss in this situation. What do you do? User Z say. Find out if the person is the boss's brother-in-law or a romantic rival. Giateki said. Try not to say it directly. I can only offer guidance. Sounds good. A classmate from Canada mentioned. Work is just work. Sure. Work is just work. It can be overlooked. Everyone has their own opinions. Everyone's perspective. But let's try to see it from their perspective. If you were in charge, you'd want your team to. How should I discuss this with you? Should I just pretend I don't know? Or should I just order you a table full of Koreans? How about I treat you to a meal? You need to understand your boss's thoughts. Then you can choose the right strategy. You order a whole table of greens. What does that mean? Some classmates suggested being honest in communication. Okay. You see, everyone has their own. You all have different styles. Bosses come in all types. Your choices might be different too. This is actually a workplace comedy. It's titled The Intern. There's a movie that features a storyline. I wonder if you all seen it. Have you guys seen The Intern? In the last class, I mentioned it in the coaching session. In this class, we'll also discuss, and our coaching materials too. Sound good? Today, we're just here to spark some thoughts. I'm not here to give you the answers. Just think about it. Okay then. So, how did our main character handle this? How did they tackle this situation? This poster here. Let's throw in one more question. Who's the boss in this poster? Who's the intern? The classmates are still talking indirectly, giving a roundabout answer. So, we tell the boss, right? What if the boss finds out? The panel says the woman is the boss. The guy is the intern. Whoa, how did you notice that? YCS says the guy is the boss. Some people mention a female boss. The woman is actually an intern. Sounds good. This is a test of your observation skills. Alright, the exact answer. Let's review the coaching materials. Okay then. Sure. This is a thought process. Research insight too. You need to think from others' perspectives. Great. 2 key research thoughts. Let's bring everyone into our political discussions. Diving into politics. Today's political topics includes these 4 parts. Let's quickly recap what we covered last time. Now, let's focus on the second point. 7 key principles. Then points 3 and 4. I'll give you a quick overview of the process and theme. That means, today, I'll clarify the P2 framework for you all. The framework includes principles, process, theme. These 3. Okay, let's tackle them one at a time. One at a time. Okay, stay with me here. Okay, first, let's talk about this chapter. This covers the key points we'll discuss today. It's pretty straightforward. We're focusing on the basics. A lot of it is conceptual. You just need to be familiar with them. Now, about those last 2 points. This is part of the tailoring section. It's for professionals. Let's discuss how to apply tailoring. I'll cover that shortly. So make sure to listen up. Knowing how to use this is key. Learning PMP and P2 is easy. I'll just show you how. The hardest part is knowing how to use it. Okay then. First, let's start with the introduction. So, what do you all think a project is? You all know PMP by now. And I'm sure you all have your thoughts. You all heard the PMP explanation. Okay. Here's an example. An IT manager gets a directive. They need to update the company's website. For instance, she says website needs updating. Okay. So, is this a project? Is it a project for sure? No doubt about it. It's definitely a project. Okay. Hold on, let me pull this up. It's a little warm. Sounds good. Of course, a project is a project, big or small. But do we really need to apply the 5 process groups from PMP? The 10 knowledge areas. Do we need to use all 49 sub-processes for this project? Is that really necessary? Why is that? Because this is your update project. The website for the company. It needs specific content. For instance, if I just change a color. You're just switching a color. Do you need to see it as a project? Switch up the color. Can't you just go ahead and do it? No need to worry about the 5 main points. You don't have to cover all 10 knowledge areas. So what should we think about? Costs and benefits. If my update covers all 8 tones, switching everything to this age-driven approach, a website with that style, a total revamp, from our current 2.0 version, will directly change to 3.0 version. Does this mean many things need to change? Like our AR, the new designs for CC and Kakai, are colors. Color palette. So does this mean it's a big project now? Because its scope has grown, it could generate significant revenue. At this point, we should weigh the costs against the benefits. So whatever the situation, even though we say anything can be a project, the key word here is can. How you see it matters. Will shape your future investments, whether or not to adopt this whole methodology. It's the same with P2. So let's take a closer look at how PMP and PR define a project differently. First, let's recap what PMP has to say. PMP defines projects as temporary efforts to create unique products, services, or results. It's a temporary task. It's a job. P2 has a totally different take. P2 says it like this. A project follows an approved business case. There should be a document called the business case. This document explains why we need to do this project. To deliver one or more business products. And to produce this product, a temporary team is formed. P2 focuses on people. PMP focuses on what needs to be done. Tasks. Isn't that right? These two systems have different perspectives, so this will resonate with everyone. Our projects are done by people, so P2 emphasizes the human element. So it's more aligned with practical application. They're not at odds with each other. They don't conflict. They complement each other. They just have different focal points. Alright. PMP outlines 3 key features: temporary, unique, and indirect specifics. On the other hand, P2 has a few. There are 5, and they provide more detail. First, a project must be transformative. If you're not looking to change the status quo, you can't do it through a project. If you pursue it through a project, it should shift the current state to your future vision. There needs to be room for change. So, it is transformative. Okay. Cross-departmental collaboration defines the project. It definitely involves several departments and collaboration among various companies. So your communication should span across functions: development, marketing, operations, and support. You have to collaborate on this project, even if support might not participate. But should we bring up the support needs? If you want to succeed with the project, you need to consider the risks involved in support. The needs for support. We still need to consider the uncertainties and risks. The key to any project is its importance. During my PMP course, I basically said one thing. What's the essence of project management? It's really just about managing risks. That's all there is to it. So, I explained this using P2. Okay. Uniqueness is the same as distinctiveness here. Okay. Temporariness is the same as it is here. The differences are now clear. Alright. Let's take another look. We have a project now. We know what a project is. We see that P2 and PMP are positioned differently. So, what exactly is project management? They also have distinct differences. Alright. Let's check it out. PMP defines what project management is. It involves applying knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques used in project activities to fulfill project requirements. I will show you how to do it. Just do it that way. I've laid out how you should do it. Just follow that approach. This defines what PMP is. It's essentially the definition of project management. We need to use the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques in your project. But that's not how P2 puts it. P2 considers all aspects and stakeholders. It still emphasizes the importance of people. Their motivations shape the plan. Empowerment, oversight, and control. See this little circle in the middle? Planning is the first step. Empowerment. It's not about doing it alone. You remember our PTC, right? So, what is PTC? What's PTC? Alias ring. Yeah. What is it exactly? Is it part of a plan? Right. D is about taking action. Getting it done for real. Then CA focuses on oversight and improvement. Into the PTC cycle. In this, P2 is based on planning. Delegation. It's not just about doing it yourself. You delegate. So this point makes it clear. P2 isn't just about standing. It's more than just the project manager's view. Authorization needs to come from a higher level. Thinking from the project director's perspective. Considering project management from the project director's angle. So, B2. He has a broader perspective. Then, he supervises and controls. It's not about making improvements. It's all about control. So, with these 6 words, everyone gets it. As project director, what's your role? Go over the plan. Sure thing. Give the go-ahead. You also need to supervise the process. If problems come up, you need to manage. This is the P2 project management perspective. Then consider those aspects. From these 6 external factors, these 6 key areas: quality metrics, cost management, performance clarity, time and benefits. The 6 key performance indicators. Within this framework, meeting project goals. This is the essence of P2. I'm here to meet project goals. Let's take a moment to understand PMP versus PR, the differences in their project management approaches. Check out P2. It's all about hitting those goals. What does it mean to achieve goals? Goal achievement. It doesn't just mean finishing the project and delivering the final product. That's what we call achieving goals. Goals are meant to be achieved. Value. The benefits of the project. If you only focus on making the product and then hand it over to operations, the operations team found it useless after using it. It keeps crashing all the time. Like, it's an app. It's software. Okay. It kept crashing after the launch. It keeps freezing and locking up. That means your project wasn't done right. So, this goal is different now. But the PMP requires that. Anyway, that's what your contract says. I just did it this way for them. Whether you'll make money later is another story. That's not my concern. Is that what you mean? Did you catch that? The project management approaches of P2 and PMP are completely different perspectives. You're looking at it from a higher vantage point. If you plan to learn PGMP later on, that's about project portfolios. If you want to advance further in the future, you definitely need to learn P2. It can help you transition smoothly. Very smoothly. It transitions into the project team. Absolutely. That's how most projects work. Just deliver. I don't care how you manage maintenance later. I don't care if you profit, that's not my concern. I've paid my part of the contract. Just pay me. So, as a project director, you can't think like a project manager anymore. Great. This is the project management for P2. So keep this in mind. There are 6 key variables. Main points. These 6 variables are crucial. Draw a star shape. How do we remember these 6 variables? First, the 3 main baselines are easy to recall. Time frame. This includes costs. These are the 3 main baselines. And there's another goal too. Quality matters. Besides these 4 goals, is there anything else? Think about your risk tolerance. If a big risk pops up suddenly, and your project goes under, would you still want to go ahead with it? Absolutely not. So, managing your risks is key. Also, we need to figure out how big the risk is. You'll see significant returns. The bigger the reward. In the end, it's all about achieving returns. This is what project management is all about. Let's dive into a comparison of P2 and PMP. Everyone will grasp it better once we clarify their definitions. Now, let's get back to the structure of P2. P2 will be explained from these 4 angles. The key points are these 3. This is its framework. Principles. Keep the project on track. It's the foundation. It helps to find the right direction. When the direction is right, efforts only matter if they're meaningful. Just like we often ask you, is it more important to choose or to put in effort? This highlights direction matters. This means that choice is crucial. In P2, principles guide the direction. The second step, keep the project on track. It's about doing things the right way. Just follow my process. It usually stays on track. What do you actually do in my process? As discussed in the 3rd section, ensure smooth project delivery. It's the drive to do the right things. So, these 3 aspects clarify the P2 structure. Also, tailor it to the project environment. This is about approving the whole structure. Okay, in today's class, We'll focus on the logical relationships of the structure and clarify them. This is really important, so let's check out this diagram. Just like we all know how to ride a bike, right? We all know how to ride a bike. Okay, as we mentioned before, the principle is direction. So, the front wheel controls the direction. Okay, the process is what holds it together, which is why it's called the frame. It keeps your front and rear wheels, and your whole bike, together. It turns it into something rideable, not just a bunch of parts. The theme is the content, it's the driving force, so we need to pedal. Then the rear wheel gets power and moves forward. You steer it with your hands. And who are we as project directors? We are that person. So we have a bike, and we're pedaling hard, but you have to adjust based on the situation, even in a race. Your path is clear, and you know exactly where to go. But you can't predict weather changes or if a car suddenly shows up behind you. You need to adjust your course based on the project environment. Brake when needed, accelerate when needed. But you can't just say okay. If I keep going straight while the road turns, I can't just ride into the sea. You might say, I'll slow down, but the risk is high. If a car comes up behind you, you can still brake. But you'd get knocked over. So their relationship is clear through this bicycle diagram. What's their role? Principles guide direction. Processes impose constraints, and themes provide momentum. The relationship should be adjusted based on the project environment. This is the complete framework of P2T. Okay, once we break down these three structures, we'll focus on the 3 7s. The 3 7s are principles, processes, and themes. 7 is clever. Each has 7 sections and 7 elements. There are 7 principles, processes, and themes. In the upcoming lessons, we'll cover each item in detail. Okay, let's quickly check this out. Here's the table of contents. We won't dive into details now, we'll cover that later. Okay, the first principle is continuous business validation. Alright, learn from experience and clearly define roles and responsibilities. Business validation is the first principle, explaining why we should pursue this project. Alright, let's learn from our past experiences, no matter where they come from. Whether it's from the company's resources or your own experiences. You can't keep falling into the same trap, can you? Next, we need to establish clear roles and responsibilities. Bring in the right person and clearly define their role. What are their responsibilities? Manage them in stages. Alright, let's talk about exception management. What does it mean? You have a defined scope. Within it, you can manage things independently. If you go beyond the scope and a situation arises, then regarding the part that exceeds this, if I adjust things to bring the project back under control, that's what we refer to as exception management. This is a key feature of P2, along with its roles and responsibilities. So, P2 puts a greater focus on people. Thus, focusing on the product is essential for achieving project goals. Your product quality must meet the standards and be high quality. Finally, the last point is to adjust the project based on its context. These are the 7 principles and processes. The first is the preparation process, and the second is the guidance process. The third is boundary management, and the fourth is initiation. The fifth is stage control, and the sixth is product delivery. The seventh is project closure. In total, there are 7 processes. This is our constraint. Great. Now, let me share a case with you all. A comprehensive example, so you can grasp how the process works. Alright. I'll wrap up this topic now. Let's go through these 3 first. Today's topic is the business case. Organization, quality, planning, risk, change, and progress. After this, think back to what you learned in PMP. Isn't it pretty similar? This is just like our 10 knowledge areas. The earlier process resembles our 5 process groups. Their learning approach is similar. The process revolves around time. So, it's similar to the 5 process groups. Here, the focus is on space. It resembles the 10 knowledge areas. These are the 3 main sections. Okay. So, the last point is to adjust it according to the environment. Just like when riding a bike, the environment matters a lot. This is the core concept of P2. Okay. What else do we have on the list? Besides the 3 phases we just talked about, P2 has some key points to consider. It breaks down and explains your management roles in detail. That's everything. Look, we have the project supervisor, which is what we refer to as the project director. Sounds good. Advanced user, advanced supplier, change management, project manager, project assurance, project support, and the team manager. But does the PMP mention these roles? The PMP really only focuses on the project manager. So, how do you divide the work? That's your responsibility. It's not my concern. Isn't that right? When should we think about the organization? Since you're the project director, you can't do everything on your own. You can only lead the organization. So, the management role is a key part of P2. Once the right people are in place, what drives the project? We use management tools. We have all benchmarks. We have all records and reports. Record items. For instance, all record forms, sub-record forms, quality record forms, logs, etc. Also, reports for upward communication. Using these 3 management product categories to drive the project. Here's what P2 is all about. It doesn't cover certain topics. It doesn't cover certain topics. This is really important. On that note, does anyone remember something we learned in PMP? Let me tell you what I'm explaining now. I'm going to explain the scope of P2. What comes to mind for everyone? What was the name of the document we learned in PMP? There's a document that highlights what's excluded. In other words, I won't cover certain topics. To ease everyone's concerns. To keep everyone from worrying. And to avoid thinking that I'm covering everything. Did anyone think of that? Great, the first user brought up exclusions. What type of document are we talking about? Scope document. Isn't that right? The scope document in PMP highlights something called exclusions. What's excluded? P2 doesn't address these topics. Specialized skills, industry practices, incentive programs, growth strategies, leadership topics aren't covered. Where can we find this? All of this is included in PMP. So, why do we link P2 and PMP? They work together. They enhance each other. P2 is the framework. PMP is essential. It's a unique relationship. They work well together. There's no conflict. Sound good? Sure. How do I register for the PTU? Great, take a screenshot. Oh, I forgot to mention that earlier. We'll send out a QR code at the end. Feel free to take a screenshot. Which image are you interested in? You just have a few pictures. Okay, let me share a case with you all. We still have some time left from the last class. I'll share a real-life example. I'm sharing my screen now. Hang on a moment, everyone. I'm sharing my desktop now. Alright. Can you all see it now? Can you see my screen? Alright. Can you see my screen? Sounds good. If you can see it, just type yes. Just let me know. Alright. The text is all clear. I can zoom in a bit later. This is a real-life example. Has everyone stayed in a hotel? It's quite small. Exactly. If you're watching on your phone, can you share where my avatar is? Can you make it full screen? The shared screen is in a small window next to my avatar. Please zoom in on the small window. Sounds good. It's now zoomed in. The PiPad can see that it can be zoomed in. You can zoom in on it. You can do this on PiPad, PC, or mobile. Alright. Once zoomed in, everyone can see this work. Just to clarify, is this a Holiday Inn case? We've all been to a hotel. The 6th hotel. I'm talking about the 6th hotel in Shanghai. In Shanghai, that's the first Holiday Inn in the country. Is this the right one? Is this the location? I'm not sure. There are so many Holiday Inns in Shanghai these days. This is the Holiday Inn closest to Hangzhou Airport that I picked. Alright, this is how this case came to be. Let's start by looking at this. Here's how this case looks. The Holiday Inn was founded in 1952 by Wilson, who opened the first Holiday Inn. It is now under Aichi. This is a group company, one of their mid-tier brands. In the 1990s, it was bought by the British-based group. The company operates numerous hotels around the world. However, given China's vast market, they decided to open the first Holiday Inn in Shanghai in 2004. Okay, so there needs to be someone authorized to start this project. Draft a project brief. In this case, who is this individual? The Asia-Pacific Business Development Head will handle this. What will he be doing while creating the brief? Everyone, just chill. This example, you don't have to be so intense. Just relax a bit. The first step in a project is to draft the project brief. Once the brief is ready, this project charter is still in place. Someone with the authority. It should be decided by someone in a high-ranking position. Okay, so what's the second step? We're clear on moving forward with this project. The second step is to appoint a project director. Here, the project director is the project manager. In our 5th edition, we're currently reviewing the 5th edition. We call it the project director. In the 6th edition, it has now been translated as project director. So they're essentially the same. Alright. The next step is for the company to appoint a project director. Alright. The Asia-Pacific head will take on this role as project director. He will take on this role himself. This role covers 2 management levels. First, there's the company level. For instance, at the company level, he's the head of Asia-Pacific. He will create the project brief, confirm the project. Also, he's a member of the project management board. He's the project director. He'll lead this project. Okay, let's move on. Once he decides, he'll appoint the project manager. He'll make the appointment. Once the project manager is on board, the project manager will lead. Time to get to work. In step 4, the project manager and director create the project overview. Assemble the project management team. Using this information, what's the project manager's role? Analyze based on the task brief. Once it's detailed, clarify how the project will be carried out. Why is this necessary? What is this all about? When will it happen? Where will it take place? So, we need to produce an important document. It's referred to as the project overview document. This document is crucial. It's equivalent to the project charter in PMP. Next, we'll form the team. Alright. Step 5. The team is ready. The important document is ready. Alright. The project management board has authorized the project launch. Send out a notice. Who should it be sent to? Send to all stakeholders. Let them know about the project. Kickoff. Sounds good. Step 6. Project manager. Create the project kickoff document. This kickoff document is like the project management plan in PMP. The project manager will take care of it. The document outlines the plan and the business case. How to deliver it. What the definition is. How to manage this. Also, we need to set up a benefits review plan. When will this happen? What methods can we use to assess your project's benefits? Next, we need to do a bit more. In this project, it's broken down into 3 phases. This is a building project. It's split into 3 stages. If you're not in construction, I'm not sure what industries you all are in. If you're in tech development, can you help me with this? Just give me a 1. If you're in construction, just give me a 2. Just give me a 3 for manufacturing. I'll tailor it to each of your situations. I'll adjust how I present my case. There are quite a few 13s. No one from construction. Sounds good. When you hear a case like this, that's how everyone thinks. So, you're in manufacturing, right? Okay. This project focuses on. I'm looking at the manufacturing sector. Some equipment in my hotel. Can you help me with the supply? Think of it as say, you'll be supplying the equipment here. For instance, we can break it down into phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. If you're in the development field, specifically the IT sector. Got it. In my hotel, I want to turn it into a driverless hotel. So it will be filled with AI, including facial recognition, and access cards, and AI robots. You'll need to provide the right software and hardware. Sound good? The capacity will follow our 3-step plan. Once the hotel is up and running, you can add these supporting features. Right. Okay. So, let's apply this. Your real work experience. You might get a better grasp of this case. Okay. There are 3 stages. First stage. First, we'll make the blueprints. Get the construction permit. Then we'll go to tender. For instance, I hired this first user of Shisai, a device from your company. I also brought in Yang Chenhui. Yang Chenhui is also in manufacturing. I also brought in Wu Qijun. You'll handle our company's AI. The AI for our project. I need to send out the bidding documents. You all got the contract. Let's choose the suppliers. Sounds good. Let's move on to the second thing. Let's build this building first. Your equipment can come in now. Alright. The third part covers the installation of electrical systems. Then all your AI equipment will come in. This is step 6. Step 7. The project manager is ready to start the handover. We'll start preparing for the first handover in detail. That means, first, we need to create the blueprints. Then we'll move on to the bidding. Alright. Step 8 is the project management board. For the project management board oversees the project and grants approval for the first delivery phase. The project manager has prepared the documents. All good. The initiation documents have been prepared, which is our project management plan, submitted to the committee for approval, and it's all set. Sounds good. Let's get to work. Sounds good. You need to send out a notice when you begin. Just like our kickoff meeting. The start notice has been sent out. This is the notice for authorized implementation. Alright. Step 9 is for the project manager to kick off the delivery. What exactly needs to be done? You should usually give specific updates. You need to report online. Next, you should track their progress. So, this is about the delivery implementation. Alright. Team leader. In other words, our subcontractor. We need to create specialized products. The team leader gets to work. He updates the project manager. Who's the team leader here? The design team leader. For instance, sketch the hotel design and construction plans for me. It's usually a top-tier design firm in the country. Please draw the plans for me. Sounds good. The bidding team handles the tender documents. For instance, what does my AI do? What equipment is in our server room? We need to clarify the scope. Send the bidding documents to the following address: the government's procurement website, and the business team will negotiate with the local government. Where should we choose the site? Where should we build this building? Sounds good. Step 11 is for the project manager to outline the next phase. If this phase is finished, it's done. Alright. As we near completion, the project manager should be wrapping up this phase. This means working on the plans, handling the bidding. As this phase wraps up, you should plan for the next phase. Get the external work ready first. Create a plan. Then send it to the Step 12 committee for approval. Okay. Once we get the approval, we can start construction. So, it's a 3-phase cycle here. The cycle also completes the second phase. Then we'll build the structure. Okay. The third phase is the final handover. We only have 3 phases. The project manager updates the higher-ups on the final delivery. Get everything organized. Fix a few issues. Okay. The team manager will follow through on the specific tasks. The project manager has finished step 15. The project manager needs to report to higher-ups. Get the completion report ready. We're moving into the final phase. For instance, the project manager invites the Asia-Pacific lead for the inspection. Make sure he signs for it. Then it's handed over. Alright. Let's put together our final report. Update the profit review plan. Make sure the documents are handed over properly. Complete the experience report. Archive all documents. Finally, the 16th step. Notify the project manager. After approval, send out the closure notice. The project is now complete. This is the entire process of P2. Okay. These are the 16 steps. Isn't that right? Let's summarize. Let's compare these 16 steps with the process we just discussed. What is this? How does this relate to the flowchart? Is that alright? Let's check it out. Sounds good. Now, let's focus on the dark blue part on the left. These 7 we just discussed. These 7 steps. First, here's where we create the project charter. As you can see, the first column has 4 levels. This includes companies or project teams. Here is the project management board. Here is the project manager. Here is the team manager. These are the 4 levels. Authority flows from top to bottom. Authority diminishes as you go down. This is a relationship of delegation. It continues to flow downward. It reaches closer to the front line. Moving to the front line. The first step is for the company to create the project charter. Alright. Step 2 is to appoint a project supervisor in the preparation process. Appointing a project manager is also part of the prep process. So, steps 1, 2, and 3 are all part of the prep process. Step 4. Project supervisor. Draft documents. The project supervisor and manager draft the documents. This is also the 4th step in the prep process. Okay. Now, let's look at step 5. The project management board authorizes the project launch. The authorization for step 5 is right here. We've entered the project management process. So this is the scope we're looking at. Here are the first 5 steps. This pen looks a bit oversized. These are the first 5 steps. Alright. Now, let's go to step 6. The project manager creates the startup documents. Because it's already been approved. This means the project has entered the startup phase. So, here's step 6. Startup process. Step 7. The project manager prepares for the first delivery. Step 7 is right here. It's right here too. Alright. Step 8. The project management board gives authorization. Step 8 is right here. So that's how it works. Sounds good. Let's move on. Step 9. The project manager manages the delivery phase. Step 9 focuses on detail management. That's right here. Inside the phase control process. Alright. This is the place. Step 10. The team manager develops professional products. The team manager is taking it seriously. This means product delivery. So, this is where it happens. This is the spot. Alright. Step 11. The project manager outlines the next phase. Planning for the next phase. This involves boundary management. Eleven is here. Stage management. This is what the project manager does. And the 12th is for boundary management. Authorized by the project board. Another task. 12 is here. He will authorize here. It's this range. Alright. So it looks right. Alright. Final stage. Stage 13. Final delivery. Controlling stage 13 here. Alright. The team manager finalizes the product. Final delivery 14. At stage 15, the project manager prepares the completion report. Stage 15. Project closure. Alright. Step 16. The project management committee approves the closure. Here are the 16 steps you need to know. This represents a specific range. So now everyone understands. Here's a real-life example. How P2 is addressed. Addressing P2. This refers to the process. And down here, you can see the red one. This represents a phase. Processes and phases differ significantly. Because each project's phases are adjusted based on project specifics. These 7 processes are essential. You'll need to experience all of them. So, they are closely related. It's similar to the 5 main engineering teams and phases in PP. They are truly interconnected. For instance, thorough preparation in the project's early stages. Initiating the project. During this phase, the final handover. This refers to the follow-up deliveries. It may not be a single delivery. There could be multiple deliveries. This is the key stage. This is where the final delivery happens. In this example, we have the first and second deliveries. At this stage, this is where the third delivery takes place. This is the complete case study of a Holiday Inn. Just a basic understanding is enough. Understand the process. Be aware of who's involved. Understand what actions have been taken. No worries. This point won't be tested. Just helping everyone get it. Sounds good. I'm closing my screen share now. You can see my head now. You can see my face now. Don't get scared. Alright, we got a quick overview. In general, things PRINCE2 will experience, what will be experienced, who's involved. After a quick overview about the batch processing framework. Is that clear now? Pretty clear. Now that it's clear, we're at 8 now. 25. Alright, let's summarize quickly. So far, what we've covered. First off, the PRINCE2 framework. It focuses on organization and profit. It emphasizes the importance of people. It stresses that our goal is profit, not just about creating a product. It's not just about delivering the final product. Instead, you need to deliver a quality product so that operations can profit from your product. This is crucial. The second part highlights the core of the PRINCE2 framework. These are the 7 principles, 7 themes and 7 processes. In our upcoming classes, we'll dive deep into these 3 key points. So, what's the logic behind this approach? It's about knowing who does what, when, and how. In other words, it's about product management. It involves managing documents and related materials. For instance, our overview files, our project kickoff files. Our logs help move the project forward. It also means using this to accomplish tasks. This is the core logic behind this method. Once you understand this logic clearly, you'll notice it. When you study PRINCE2 later on, you'll have a much clearer understanding. It's much clearer than just the basics. This is a key part of the overall logic. Sounds good. Let's take a quick break. Sure. Let's take a break. Did everyone get a screenshot? If you're taking a screenshot, let me show you the QR code first. Did you get it? Let me show you quickly, because some people are here to take advantage. They might be too busy right now. If you have a moment, I hope you haven't captured the second half of the class. If you haven't taken a screenshot, start with this one. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this first. It's fine to take a screenshot of this QR code first. You can also grab a screenshot of me teaching later. Sounds good. Just take a screenshot from today's live class. Then scan it and upload it to the QR code. Get 5 PDUs and 2 lucky codes. Okay. And there's one more thing. If you feel something during the class, you really connect with it, you might want to pay more attention in the second half. If you're curious about PRINCE2, feel free to reach out to our PRINCE2 instructor. If you're already one of our PRINCE2 students, you've pretty much finished the course. If you've learned something, it'd be great if you could recommend it to your colleagues. I'm really happy. Alright, that's a wrap. Let's take a quick screenshot. Once I grab that, I'll switch back. Just to make sure you all stick around. I'm going to switch back now. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3, and we're back. Sounds good. We'll dive into the next topic soon. Great. What we covered in the first half. How's everyone finding it so far? Do you sense it? It's been 2 years since we last met. You're a veteran student now. You're part of the Lin Yun class. Hao Bai has a naturally fair complexion. Could use a bit more charm. He could be a bit more handsome. Just a little more handsome. I have a lot of female classmates. Because the guys all went to Mumu's class. I think I have a good idea of what PRINCE2 is now. Sounds good. Seniors class is here. Whoa, it's super early. Let's all check in together. Whoa, that's amazing. Congrats. Congrats. Where's Mu? Hey, we've been running into each other a lot lately, huh? Sounds good. Today's lesson. Just have a basic sense of PRINCE2 and you're good. We'll go into details. I'll break it down for you later. Today, I'll set up a framework for you all. Especially, you need to differentiate. What are the real differences between PR and PNP? What's the difference? Sounds good. Exactly. Let's note the time. We'll kick off at 8:30. Class begins at 8:38. Take a 10-minute break. Sounds good. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I see your message. I'll help you with that.